Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. So today we are going to discuss, this is my syllabus page. Today we are going to discuss topic 26. That is principles of soil fertility, principles of soil fertility, soil testing and fertilizer recommendation. Soil fertility, soil testing and fertilizer recommendation. So it is a little bit a bigger topic, topic. So we will divide it in A, B. So today we are going to do topic 26A. So in this lecture we are going to start from principles of soil fertility. Principles of soil fertility. So the first principle is law of minimum. Law of minimum. It is that plant growth will be limited by the essential element. Plant growth will be limited by the essential element that is most deficient in soil. That is most deficient in soil. It means that if suppose the amount of nitrogen in soil is 2 kg only and this 2 kg is absorbed, so it doesn't matter where if there is potassium or phosphorus in high amounts, the plant growth will be limited as the N is not available now. So it will be limited by the essential element that is most deficient in soil. And the limited factor can be physical also. Limited factor can be physical also. It can be physical factors also, not only plant growth. Physical factors such as soil compaction. So not only the non-availability of nitrogen, that is elemental factor or element factor will be available. Suppose the soil is so much compact, then it will also affect the growth of plant. So physical factors also can be limited factors. So what we need to do, supplement or reclamation of problem is needed. Reclamation of problem is needed to increase yields. So this was law of minimum. Hope you all understand it. Now moving on to the second law, that is Synchrony. Synchronny. Synchrony. So this is the graph of synchrony. Like this, it is the graph. Here it is crop maturity, and this let be harvest, and this is nutrient uptake. Suppose nitrogen 50 kg, 100 kg, 150 kg, 200 kg. Hope you all understand this. So what happens in synchrony? So the graph you can see is flat at start. That means that slow growth while plant build up root system. So in the start you can see this flat position. The plant is building root and the growth is slow, and the amount of nutrient uptaken by plant is also low. Then there is grand period. Then grand period of rapid growth. rapid growth. Then this grand period, this is the grand period, and this grand period will start to slowing down as plant switch to reproductive stage. Grand period will slow down as plant switch to reproductive stage. This is stage, reproductive and vegetative stage. So this way synchronize nutrient we need to synchronize nutrients addition, synchronize nutrient additions with plant nutrient requirements as it grows. This means suppose the nutrient requirement in the initial stages when plant is developing its root system, it is low, but during this grand phase you need to increase the nutrient requirement, and till from the reproduction, from maturity to harvest, we need to maintain the nutrient requirement at a stage, but this period we need to increase from 50 to 50 or to whatever that is. So this was all about synchrony. Now moving on to third principle, that is nutrient cycling. Nutrient cycling important for proper soil fertility and production. Important for proper soil fertility and production. Nitrogen cycle is leaky because of gaseous and leaching losses. So nitrogen is leaked, so we need to provide nitrogen in sufficient amount whenever it is leaked. And phosphorus is tight, that is it doesn't leak from the soil because of gaseous and leaching losses. And potassium is also leaky. So you need to remember some of these points, although it has been not asked in exam, but whenever it will be asked, using these points you can manufacture your certain answer. Now what is the difference between soil fertility and soil productivity? Difference between soil fertility and soil productivity. Point number 1. Soil fertility is considered as index of nutrient availability to plants. Considered as index of nutrient availability to plants. The productivity, it is usually used to indicate the ability of soil for crop yield. It is one of factors of crop production. One of factors of crop production. It is interaction of crop production factors. Interaction of crop production factors. Usually assessed in lab. The assessed in field with reference to particular climate. Assessed in field only with reference to particular climate. Soil potential to produce a crop. It is the potential of soil potential to produce a crop. It is the result of different factor influencing soil management. Different factor influencing soil management. Depends on physical, chemical and biological factors of soil. Depends on physical, chemical and biological factors of soil. Depends on soil physical conditions, and fertility, climate and weather, etc. Function of available nutrient in soil. It is the function of available nutrient in soil. It is the function of soil fertility, soil and crop management, and climate. Three functions: soil fertility, soil management, and climate. Now moving on to the next points. Fertility of certain soils may be same in all climates, in different climates or all climates. Differs in response to variation of climate and location. While soil productivity differs in response to climate and location. Variation in climate and location. Soil fertility is function of, hope you all have read math, this is function of nutrient status of soil, while soil productivity is function of soil fertility plus management plus climate. Remember this. Remembering this will help you write this differentiation very easily. Keep making notes, it is very helpful. All the questions will be asked from your notes, maximum more than 80 to 90% question, I guarantee that. But you need to revise that. We need to value add your notes and keep writing everything, keep making notes. This will help. This is your Brahmastra. Now one more question was asked in TBC. I am dealing with it. Forest soil's organic matter content versus agricultural soil organic matter content. So difference the organic matter content in forest soil and agricultural soil. So first of all, seeing forest soil, it has high organic matter content due to falling leaves, less disturbance, of soil microbes, huge number of insects and microorganisms and earthworm, etc. Here the soil is tilled by soil microorganisms and not with machinery. This is what forest soil. Now with agriculture soil, it is less due to crop production techniques and high utilization of crops. Here fertilizers, pesticides, etc. affects it. Less soil microbes compared to forest soils. Tillage by machinery reduce insects. So this is the differentiation. Hope you all understand it. Now moving to next topic, that is soil testing and fertilizer recommendation. Soil testing and fertilizer recommendation. So first of all, what is soil testing and plant analysis? Soil testing and plant analysis. So these soil testing and plant analysis are useful tools for making recommendation. for making recommendation for the application of fertilizers to crops. Soil testing gives a measure of the availability of nutrients for crops. A measure of availability of nutrients for crops. Plant analysis indicates the actual removal of nutrients from soil. In plant analysis, we are analyzing the plant, how much nutrient had he taken from soil, so that from that we can provide the removal of nutrient from the soil. So what are the aims of soil testing? Soil testing aims at number 1, growing soil into classes relative to the levels of nutrients suggesting fertilizer for suggesting fertilizer and practices. So what is grouping soil? Suppose if some soil is grouped in number 1, so certain amount of fertilizer is needed. Some soil is grouped in number 2, certain amount of fertilizer is needed. So we will group soils and recommend fertilizer as per it. It helps in predicting the probability of getting profitable responses. It helps in evaluating or increasing soil productivity. It helps in determining specific soil condition like alkali, salinity, acidity, which limits crop yield. So these things what do? They limit crop yield. So it aims at determining a specific soil condition and treat as per it. So these were the aims of soil testing. Now moving on, what are the aims of plant analysis? So plant analysis aims at number 1, diagnosing or confirming the diagnosis of visible symptoms, identifying hidden hunger, locating areas of incipient deficiencies, indicating whether the applied nutrients have entered the plant. Applied nutrients have entered the plants, indicating interactions or antagonisms among nutrient elements. So this is what plant analysis aims at. Now moving on, What are the principles and methods of soil sampling and processing? Methods of soil sampling and processing. So the first one is, first what we will do, collection of soil sample from field. Soil sample from field. Determination of soil unit. Determination of soil unit. On what basis? On basis of topography, color, texture. As color you can see high or dark color is equal to high organic matter, whereas light color is equal to low organic matter. So color, texture, fertility status, management unit, etc. The next step is collection of composite soil sample. Collection of composite soil sample of determined soil unit. Now the next method is number 4. After collecting composite soil sample, what you will do? Preparation of soil sample in lab. What steps we will follow here? Number 1 is drying, sieving, grinding, mixing, partition of sample, weighing, storage, etc. These are the steps. Then what we will do in next step? Sample for field crops. Sampling for which crop we are going to grow, sampling as per it. And next is to sampling for local problem spot. What could be the local problems? Example, some saline area could be there, acid soil could be there, etc. So these were the methods of soil sampling and processing soil sampling and processing. Hope you all understand it. Now moving on to the next thing, that is fertilizer recommendation. Fertilizer recommendation. What is fertilizer recommendation? For recommending fertilizer dose, the following points should be considered. What are the points? Number 1, initial. How do we recommend fertilizer? So this point you need to remember. Initial fertility status of soil. Additional produce and price of additional produce. Cost of fertilizer. Farm management quality. Productive potential of land. Possibility of risk involved. Availability of the fertilizer that is recommended. So we need to recommend those fertilizers which are available in the market. And next last is crops to be grown. So these are the points we need to remember when we are recommending some fertilizer to some farmers. And now moving on to the next thing, that is, this was also asked in previous year, that is soil test based nutrient recommendation and their adoption by farmers. Soil test based nutrient recommendation and their adoption by farmers. This was asked in previous year. So how will you start the answer? You should know everything about it. So actually all know that chemical fertilizers in last 50 years has grown into 170 times. See this, last 50 years grown into 170 times. This trend has also deteriorated the soil. This trend has what done? Deteriorated the soil and led to deficiencies in natural soil. And led to deficiencies in natural soil. So this needs to be planned properly. So this be planned properly to sustainable management of soil and limit overuse of fertilizers. Soil test started to recommend the dosage of soil, especially what? NPK, because this is what is highly used by farmers. Now you can also add some data like this up. With proper testing, many farmers, more than 80% of farmers while testing, who tested for more than 80% who tested for soil followed its recommendation. Suppose 10 farmers are testing for soil, more than 8 farmers are following the recommendation. So we can see the effect, the change. More than 80% of farmers who are going for soil test are following the recommendation to increase their production, and they have shown increase in their production. Although integrated nutrient management came along with positives, ICRISAT, but major thrust on macronutrients. This is organization, sub-semi-arid, something like this, thrust on micronutrients. So this is how you can go through your answer. And as you know, the question also asked that their adoption by farmers. So but still many farmers doesn't test soil. Because of why they doesn't test soil? Many farmers still doesn't go for soil testing because of some reasons like that, not knowing about soil testing process, not knowing about soil testing process, and whom to contact for testing. Soil testing laboratories located far away, soil testing labs located far away. Some thought yield is good and not opted for soil testing. Some thought yield is good and they didn't opt for testing. Some were not aware of how to collect samples. There is a definite method of how to collecting samples like this. Suppose this is your field, so you have to take samples from all the 4 parts, and even from middle. The collection of samples, the way you need to dug is like a pea and take samples from the down part, and you need to remove grasses, remove upper layer of soil. So these are some of the methods how to collect sample, and many farmers, most of the Indian farmers doesn't know how to collect samples to go for soil testing. Many have lack of awareness lack of interest. Many farmers doesn't show any interest in soil testing. So these were the some of the reason why farmers were not adopting that. And it was also seen in adoption by farmers, how farmers adopted that maximum adaptability of marginal farmers was seen for paddy, because a huge nutrient or huge fertilizer is needed in paddy, and so marginal farmers so adopted nutrient use in paddy. Large farmers also showed positive intent, but there are some constraints. For farmers who not adopted. Some tested also but didn't adopted because of the reasons like that adequate quantity of fertilizers not available, adequate quantity and quality of fertilizers. Suppose we are recommending this fertilizer, this quality and quantity of fertilizer need to use, but it was not available. So how is farmer going to adopt that? Prices of some fertilizers and chemicals are very high. No technical advice was given to them. And many who tested their soil but still not adopted because many farmers were illiterate. And found it difficult to understand dosage. This could be the failure of our extension work, that they found it very difficult to understand dosage. So these were some of the constants. Hope you all understand it. And in the next part of this video we will deal with soil health card and remaining topics. So that's all for today. If you like the video, please press the like button. For any queries, do comment, do share and subscribe. That's all for today. Have a nice day. Thank you.